Hello all, welcome to part 16 of JavaScript for Beginners series. In this session, I am going to explain and practically demonstrate about functions in JavaScript. So let's get started. First of all, what exactly are functions? Functions are nothing but a block of statements or code. Okay, functions are nothing but a block or group of statements or code which can be executed together to perform a specific task. Fine. So this is the definition for the functions, guys. Now let me explain this definition in a practical manner or more better manner, I can say. Functions are nothing but a block of statements or code which can be executed together to perform a specific task. For example, guys, I want to create a function which contains a block of statements or code. When that particular function is executed, it should perform a specific task like addition of the numbers. Okay. For that, if I talk about the syntax in JavaScript to create a function, the syntax will look something like this, guys. We will be using a keyword. Okay, in order to create a function in JavaScript, we'll be using a keyword known as function keyword, followed by the name of the function. Okay, followed by the name of the function. Let's say add. Add is the name of the function, and here after the name we have to provide some circular brackets, guys. Okay, this will become a function now. Function having the name as add, and this is the starting point of the function and this is the ending point of the function. So this is the body of the function. Inside the body of the function, we can write the code. Okay, statement one. Okay, statement one, statement two. We can write a block of statements or code inside the function. Statement three, like this, and so on. Okay, the function contains a group of or block of statements or code file. Now, when this particular function is called, okay, when this particular function is called, then only the function will be executed. If you don't call this function, we have to call this function, guys. We have to call this function. How to call this function? With the help of the function name. Here, what is the function name? Add is a function name, right? So we have to write something like this in the JavaScript. We have to write the name of the function like this, and this will become the calling statement for this function. When this particular statement is written and executed, this statement will call this function. And when this function got executed, it will perform a specific task. What is the specific task in case of this particular function, guys? When when this particular function is executed, it will perform a specific task like addition. Okay, addition of numbers, etc. Okay, like that, guys. Now, hope guys you understood what exactly is a function now, right? Function is nothing but a block of statements or code which can be executed together to perform a specific task. But in order for this particular function to be executed, we have to call the function using this function calling statements. And when the function gets executed, it will perform a specific task. In this case, the function is performing a task like addition of the numbers. Hope guys you got some clarity about functions now. Okay, so now, but what is the purpose, guys? Okay, why we have to create functions and why we have to put some block of statements inside the function, and when the function get executed, when the function get executed, a specific task is performed and all those stuff. Why we have to really create a function to perform a specific task? The one and number one, okay, the number one reason for creating the functions is reusability, guys. Okay, the number one reason for creating the functions and grouping a block of statements to perform a specific task is to achieve something known as reusability. That means, let's say you have to frequently perform addition of numbers. Okay, let's say you have to frequently perform addition of numbers. For that, you don't have to write this block of statements multiple times, right? Right? If you don't have any function, let's say, if you don't have any function, you need to write this block of statements multiple times in your JavaScript code. And every time you have to perform addition of some new numbers, you have to write the code. Okay, this one has to be repeated multiple times. But instead, if you create a function, you just need to call this function, guys, right? You just need to call this function to perform the operation. That means you are not writing this code again and again. So you will soonly understand how the reusability will come into picture in my practical demonstrations in this session, guys. But for now, understand the major and the number one advantage of using or functions, creating functions in JavaScript or any other programming language is to achieve the reusability. Okay, this is a major advantage. by the end of the session, we'll understand clearly what exactly is reusability is. But for now, just understand that the advantage of creating or using the functions in any programming language is for the major reason is reusability. Okay, fine. So this is the theoretical part about the functions, guys. But now let's move on to the practical demonstrations where we'll create the actual functions in JavaScript and try to execute them. Okay. So I'll first start with a very basic function, guys. Okay, very basic function. When you call that particular function, right, it will simply print hello text. Okay, when I call this particular basic function, it should simply print hello text. So for that, guys, I'll launch Visual Studio Code. Okay, I'll just launch the Visual Studio Code, and inside the Visual Studio Code, I'll first create a JavaScript file. Okay, I'll just delete this existing JavaScript file and create a fresh one. Here I'll click on this new file and create a fresh file, say demo.js. Okay, and here I'll be writing some code, guys. Okay, I'll be writing some code. So first of all, I'll write a function, guys. Directly I'll create a function. I already told you, right, the syntax of the function in JavaScript. We have to use a keyword known as function keyword followed by the name of the function. Say hello. Okay, you can, this is my user defined name, guys. Okay, you can give any name here. Let's say hello is the name of the function I'm giving. Say hello. And what should happen when this particular function is called? I'm writing a group or block of code inside this say hello function. I'll simply say console.log. When this particular function is called, it should print in the output hello. Okay, hello, just hello, guys, nothing much. Now, guys, if I run this code, will this function will work? Okay, if I run this code, will the function will be executed and hello will be printed in the output? It will not, guys. Okay, it will not be executed. Function will not be executed. You see here, I'm trying to execute this JavaScript file which is having this function created, but this function will not be executed. So if I run this node demo.js, you see nothing will happen. You see nothing got printed in the output. The reason here is, in order for a particular function to be executed, you have to call it, guys. Okay, you have to call the function. How to call the function? Simple, guys. Copy paste this up to here. Okay, name of the function followed by circular brackets is enough. Put a semicolon here. Okay, this is a function calling statement. Okay, so this is a function calling statement. That means when you write this kind of statement, this statement will call the function, and then only the code that is there inside the function will be executed. If you don't call the function explicitly like this, the function will not be executed and you will not get any output like this. Okay, now let me run again. This time it will run, guys. Okay, this time the function will be called and hello will be printed in the output. You see, now demo.js, you see hello got printed because this function calling statement has called this function or invoked this function, and hence this function got executed and the code inside the function got executed. Because of the code inside the function got executed, we got hello printed in the output. So, guys, that's a very basic example. Okay, basic function I demonstrated now. Okay, now let's go to some advanced functions, guys. Not advanced, so much advanced, but okay, we'll go step by step, understanding how we can create different type of functions and all. So here, guys, this particular function is not intaking any data. Okay, we are simply calling the function, but we are not passing any data to this function. Okay, but whenever we call this function, the function is getting executed, and okay, the code inside the function is getting executed, and we can see the output and all the stuff, right? But this particular function is not intaking any data. Can we create some functions which can intake some data? Yes. Okay, let's say, guys, I'll just modify this function, guys, so that it can take some name. Okay, let's say first name. I'm just giving some parameter here. This is called as a parameter, guys. Whatever I'm trying to give here is a parameter. Okay, if this particular function has to take some data from outside, okay, if this particular function has to collect some data from outside, when it is called, we can pass this data, guys. Okay, so in order to make this function receive such kind of data from outside, you have to create something known as parameter. You can create multiple parameters, guys, but for now I'm creating only one parameter, that is first name parameter. So whatever I created inside this function, inside the circular brackets, is nothing but a parameter, guys. We generally call that as a parameter. Okay, only one parameter is there now. Now, guys, same function, say hello function, but it has a parameter. It is intaking some data. Okay, it's intaking some data. Now I want to print that first name. Okay, I want to print that first name, so I can say plus, just give this first name here, guys. Just give this first name here. So what happens is, I'll just give a space also, guys. Space hello. Whatever the name that is received, that will be appended with this particular text. Okay, whatever the name you are passing to this say hello function, that name will be appended to the hello. This time it will not simply print hello, it will print hello whatever the name you passed. If I pass Arun, it will say hello Arun. Okay, kind of. Okay, I'm just going in the direction. So this will not work anymore, guys. Okay, if you run this program right now, this will not work. This statement will not work because, okay, because this function that you are calling here, you are not passing any data. If you are not passing any data, this function will not be called. Okay, now the definition of this particular function got changed a bit, where this particular function is taking some data, but if you are calling the function without passing the data, this function will not be called, guys. Just try here, say node demo.js. You see hello undefined is there. That means when you are not passing anything, it's taking undefined. Okay, it's not taking any data, and it's assuming undefined because you didn't pass anything. It's not a proper output, right? It's not a proper output. Fine. Now what I will do is, I'll just give a proper name. Okay, I'll pass a proper name, guys. Let's say I'll pass Arun this time. You see, we'll get a proper output this time. So I'll just clear it out and say node demo.js, and if I run this, guys, this time Arun will be passed. Okay, Arun data will be passed to this first name, and hello first name will be printed. Okay, earlier hello undefined was printed because you are not passing anything, but this time you are passing the data. Okay, so this Arun here is called as an argument, guys. Okay, argument. So from the function calling statements, we are passing the arguments, and the function is receiving these arguments, that is data, into these parameters, and using this parameter inside the function code. Okay, inside the function code. Now let's see, this will happen in a proper way, guys. Run this. You see hello Arun got printed. Hello Arun got printed. Hello Arun got printed. Fine. Now if you pass a different name, let's say, can you call this function multiple times? The same function, can you call it multiple times? Yes, guys, it's possible. So here I'll copy paste this statement, and this time instead of passing Arun, right, I'll pass Varun. Okay, the first statement I am passing Arun, so this function will be called with Arun. Hello Arun will be done. After that, I am calling the same function for the second time by passing the different name, say Varun. So it will say hello Varun, and still I can call it multiple times, guys. Okay, the same function can be called any number of times. There is no limit. Okay, I'm just giving Tarun here. Okay, now let's run this clear. Node demo.js. You see, hello Arun, hello Varun, hello Tarun. How many times the function got called here? 3 times. We called this function 3 times, guys. Every time we pass it a different argument, and okay, every time we call the function, we called with a different argument. Okay, like Arun, Varun, Tarun. So this function got called 3 times in this particular program. Fine. So this is like single parameter program. Okay, single parameter function, guys. We'll explore more, guys. Okay, we'll explore more. Let's now create a function which intakes 2 numbers and prints the sum of the intaken values when called. Okay, so let's create a function, guys. Instead of this function, I'll create another function which will intake 2 parameters, not 1 parameter, more than 1 parameter. Function, I'll just call this function as addition or add function, which will intake 2 parameters, a comma b. Okay, you can give the parameter names as simple as like a comma b, or you can say number 1 comma number 2, anything you feel. Okay, anything you feel, guys. Number 1 comma number 2, whatever it is. Okay, whatever you feel, just give the names of the parameters here. And here console.log of, simply I will say number 1 plus number 2. Okay, number 1 plus number 2. So, or you can make this a more better way. So how, instead of writing like this, you can write like this. Okay, where. So guys, better to give the declarations also. Where I forgot in the last session. Okay, so here you are not able to give where, right? Can you understand that? So we should not be giving the where here. Just remove that. Only inside the function we can give the where. Okay, so here by default they are like parameters, guys. Okay, don't give the where kind of thing there. Here say where sum is equal to number 1 plus number 2. Okay, number 1 plus number 2. Fine. So here we gave where sum is equal to number 1 plus number 2, and now here I'll say console.log of sum. Okay, console.log of sum. Now I'll call this function, guys. I'll call this function. How to call the function? I'll simply say add, and I'll pass the values, guys. Let's say 3 comma 5, 3 comma 5. And when I run this program, clear, okay, clear node demo.js. When I run this, you see you are getting the output as 8 printed here. I can write a proper text here, guys. Sum of, okay, the sum of plus num1 and the sum of num1 and num2 is colon, is provide colon here, say plus sum. Here we are using the plus operator for appending the text with the numbers. Okay, text with the numbers, right? Text with the variables, you can say. In order to append this text with the variables and all, we have to use this plus operator here. Plus is not for addition here, it's for appending, concatenation. It's acting as a concatenation operator here. Okay. Okay, guys, now let's run this code. Okay, so you'll get a better output here. So instead of getting only 8 printed here, if I say node demo.js, you'll get sum of 3 and 5 is 8. It's a better output, right? Like this you can achieve. You can call this function any number of times. You can pass 4 comma 5 this time, and it will give you a, it will call the function with different values this time, and it will print proper output. So sum of 3 and 5 is 8, sum of 4 and 5 is 9. Like this you'll get the output. So here this particular function is intaking 2 numbers, guys, and it's printing the sum of the intaken values when called. Similarly, functions can return data also. Okay, it's not only will take the data inside, but also functions can return the data also. Okay, in return it will return the data also. How the functions can return the data? Let me explain. So here in this example, guys, in whatever example I have given, okay, this particular function is intaking the data in the form of number 1 and number 2, okay, and performing the operation and printing there itself, right? Operating on the numbers and printing the sum there itself. But I don't want this print statement to be here. Rather, this function need to return this sum. Okay. So what we can do is I'll just remove this part. Okay. This function has to return the sum instead of printing the sum of these two given numbers here itself. I want to return the sum. Okay. We have to use a keyword inside the function known as return, followed by the whatever the thing you want to return. I want to return the sum of these numbers. Okay. So whenever this function is called, this function is not only taking the data, but also is returning something back. Okay. So when you call add of 3 comma 5, when you hover the mouse, guys, you see this function is returning. Okay. This function is returning this sum, guys. Okay. So what we have to do here, we have to create something like this, guys. We can say where, okay, sum1 is equal to, like this you have to say, and you can print it out here, console.log of, okay, sum of, okay, sum of, okay, sum of, otherwise we'll say we'll directly print sum1, guys. Okay, we'll directly print sum1, console.log of sum1. And here also when you call this function, okay, when you call this function is called, it's performing some operation and it is returning you some data. That data will be returned to this calling statement, and we have to capture the data into a variable, say, let's say sum2, and we have to print the data, console.log of sum2. Okay, like this, console.log of sum1, console.log of sum2, like this we can print. Now run this code, clear node demo.js. You see 8 and 9 got printed. So this particular statement is calling the function, and while calling the function, it's passing 3 to this number 1, 5 is passed to the number 2, and the operation is done on 3 and 5, and the sum is being returned by the function back. That sum we are collecting into a variable and printing here. Simple. Okay. That sum we are collecting here and printing here. Fine. Okay. That's how we can do it. Okay. Next thing is, Is how the functions can return the data also, guys. Not only intake the data, but also they can return the data. Now the last one, guys. Okay. Till now, I was demonstrating the functions, okay, separately, right? I am writing the code for the functions in separate JavaScript file, and I am running that file using the node.js, right? Here I am by writing the node.js commands, we are able to run the functions code in the JavaScript separately. But guys, let's try to execute the JavaScript functions from the HTML code. Okay. Now let's try to execute the JavaScript functions from the HTML code. How that is possible? How that is possible? Let me demonstrate. So firstly, I'll be demonstrating the function which can change the color of the text based on the button that gets clicked. Okay, we'll create a page, guys, which will contain all the different buttons. When you click on the red button, let's say the paragraph text should on the page, same page should change to red color. Okay, there may be another button like green button. When you click on the green button, the paragraph text that is displayed on the page should change to green color. Like that, we have to. I would like to demonstrate, guys. Okay, practically how that is possible with the help of the functions. I'm going to demonstrate that. For that, guys, I'll open the Visual Studio Code IDE and simply delete this file. It's already there now. Just delete this and freshly I'll create a HTML file. Okay, because I'm going to demonstrate the functions, execution of the function from the HTML files now, not using the node.js. We are going to run the JavaScript functions using the HTML files. For that, I'll create a HTML file, demo HTML.html extension. Okay, demo HTML.html extension, guys. Press enter. And here I'll create a HTML file, a very basic format I'll create, guys. HTML head and here body, and in the head I'll create a title. Okay, changing colors program or changing colors is fine. Changing colors, okay. And here in the body I'll create a paragraph, guys. Okay, a paragraph. When I click on the buttons, I already mentioned, right? When I click on the buttons, the text on the paragraph should change. Okay, paragraph text color should change. So that thing I'm trying to achieve. So that I'll create a paragraph first. Paragraph and change the color of this text. Okay, using the below buttons. I'll write like this. Okay, change the color of the text using the below buttons. And here to create the buttons, I'll use button tags. Button / button. Inside this, I'll give red button. Okay, I'll create multiple buttons like this. Red button, 4 buttons I'll create. Red button, green button, orange button. Okay, or a red button, blue button. Okay, finally blue button. 4 buttons I created this. Now, if I kind of run this code, you will see a web page having this paragraph text and having these 4 buttons. Okay, let me run this. Right click on this file and open with live server. Okay, you'll get the web page open from the Visual Studio itself. You see, change the color of this text using the below buttons, and we have 4 buttons: red, green, orange, and blue. If I click on the red button, for now nothing is happening, guys. We are going to implement functions for each and every button here. When you click on this button, a particular function need to be called, and that function should change the color of this text. That's what is the intention, guys. Okay, that's what is the intention. Nothing much. So go back, guys. Go back, and here, guys, what I will do here is I'll give some IDs, guys. Okay, I'll just give some ID for this paragraph. Say ID is equal to para1. For now, I'll give an ID attribute, say para1 for this, so that I can uniquely identify this paragraph. Okay, so these buttons, let the buttons be like this. Now let's create the functions. Okay, let's create the functions. So how to create the function? So here, guys, inside the head section, I'll create the script tags so that I can write the JavaScript code, as you already know. Script. Okay, inside the script tags, /script I have to provide here. Otherwise, it will not take 1 minute. /script. Now it's gone. Inside the script tags, I'll write the code for the function. Say function change color function I am saying, and this function need to receive a parameter, guys, that is, okay, color text. Okay, color text. Which color we have to pass the color? We have to pass the color, right? So when I click on the red button, this red button should pass red color to this, so that the text, this particular text should change to red color. Inside the function, I'll write the code which will change the color of the paragraph text. To change the color of the paragraph text, first we have to locate this paragraph, guys. JavaScript locates this paragraph using the DOM, that is document dot get element by ID. What is the ID of that text, guys? Paragraph text para1. Just provide that para1 here inside the double quotes. Now, what should be changed here? For this paragraph, what should be changed? We have to change the color, right? As we already know, we have to use style dot color here. Okay, change the color of this paragraph. For changing the color of this any element, we have to use style dot color, guys. Is equal to which color we have to change this color of the paragraph to? This part, whatever the color that this particular function is referring, right? That particular color, we have to change the color of the paragraph text to. Like this, I have written the function, guys. Now, the next thing is we need to call this function. Okay, if you run this code, nothing will happen, guys. Okay, when you run this code, nothing will happen. Okay, even though you click on the buttons, nothing will happen because the function is not called anywhere, right? The function is not called anywhere. But how to call this function? When you click on the button, this function should be called. When you click on the red button, this function need to be called, and red color should be passed here, and the color of the paragraph should change to red color. That's the intention. Further, guys, here inside the button can provide an attribute known as onClick. Okay, there is an attribute known as onClick, guys, using which when we click on this button, this particular function will be called. Okay, so I'll copy paste this function here as it is, and here pass in single quotes, guys. Already it's there in the double quote, so I'll pass inside single quotes. 1 minute. Okay, since this particular function name is already provided in double quotes, inside the function calling statements, I'll not provide the double quotes, guys. Instead, I'll provide the single quotes and pass the color of the text that has to be changed to when you click on this red button. Okay, when you click on the red button, okay, this particular function will be called, and with which argument? Red, and red will go and be passed into this parameter, and here it will change the color of the paragraph to which color? Color of this particular paragraph to which color? Red color, like that. Okay, similarly, write the same thing for remaining buttons, guys. onClick is equal to change color of, say, right, green color, pass green color, guys. Okay, in this case. Now here also button onClick is equal to change color of orange. Okay, you can change it to orange color. You just pass orange color here. Okay, finally, the last button onClick. When you click on this button, call the function having the name change color name, and pass the color to that particular function as blue color. Okay, so that the paragraph text will change to blue color. Now it's auto saved, guys. I don't have to save every time because this program is auto saved. Auto save is selected here, so I'm not saving every time. Just remember that. Now let me run the code, guys. Okay, so let's close this off. Okay, let's close that and run the code. Again, right click and say open with live server. Okay, the page came, guys. The page came. This time, guys, when I click on the red button, the paragraph text color is changing to red color, because when I click on this button, a function is being called which is changing the color of the paragraph to red color. Okay, when I click on the green button, the color of the text is getting changed to green color. When I click on the orange button, it's not happening, guys. There is some mistake in the code. Let's go back and check the mistake. onClick, change color orange. Okay, maybe some mistake happened, guys. That's why it's not happening. Let's run this again. Anyhow, it's auto saved. Let me close this and run this again. Open with live server. Now it's open. Let's see. Red color, green color, orange color, and blue color. Everything is working fine. Okay, everything is working fine. So, guys, this is how we can run the JavaScript function from the HTML code. And there's another way, guys. I'll give one more example for running the JavaScript code from the HTML code. Okay, JavaScript functions from the HTML code. So this time, guys, I'm going to separate the JavaScript code from the HTML. Okay, here if you clearly observe, HTML code is there here, the same file, in the same HTML file, and also the JavaScript code is also there in the same HTML file. But I want to separate this. I would like to write the JavaScript code in a separate JavaScript file, and in the HTML code, I want to write in a separate HTML file. Okay, like that I want to do. What I can do. So what I will do is I'll just clear out all these sections, like okay, whatever I created, right? I'll just remove all this stuff. Okay, and I'll change the title. Okay, this is general basic okay, hierarchy of the HTML code, right? Okay, basic structure of the HTML code, HTML head and body and title. I'm going to give the title, guys, different title. So here what I want to achieve is in the next program is I would like to design the calculator program by using functions. Okay, I want to do some calculation operation like addition, multiplication, subtraction and division. I want to do calculator. Okay, I'll simply give this as calculator, guys, calculator. And what I want to do is here on the body I'll give fields like input. Okay, type is equal to text. Okay, input type is equal to text. Placeholder is equal to so number 1. Okay, number 1 is a placeholder. I'll give one more input. The input type is equal to text, then placeholder is equal to, I'll give number 2. Okay, number 2 as a placeholder. Fine, 2 input fields I have given, guys. 2 input fields I have given. Now the next one is I have given 2 input fields, and I can give the labels also. Number 1, number 2 as a labels. That's okay. Number 2 as a labels, and here there are 2 text fields. Under that I'll create a button, guys. Button. Okay, I'll say add button. Okay, add button, and similarly I'll create other 4 buttons. 2, 3, 4. Add, subtract. Okay, multiplication and division. Okay, like this four categories I gave: addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. 4 categories I gave, guys. Number 1 and number 2: add, subtract, multiply and divide. Okay, 4 buttons. Fine. If I run this HTML code, guys, you will get this. Okay, so number 1, number 2: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. But now at this moment, if I click on this addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, nothing will happen, guys. Let me move this button to the next line. That will be better, right? Let me move this button to the next line. So I'll just add this br tags and again run this code. Refresh, you see, add, subtraction, multiplication, division went to the next line. And one more thing, guys. One more thing is, so what I want to do here is when I click on add, the result should be displayed somewhere, right? The result should be displayed somewhere, right? The addition of these 2 numbers should be displayed somewhere here. Further, guys, I'll do one thing here at the end of the buttons. I'll just give something like some label. I'll give result label. I'll give result colon, and I'll put a paragraph here. Okay, and I'll say id is equal to some para1. I'll say. So here I'm just putting this empty paragraph, guys, but when you get the result, I want to display the result as a paragraph text here. Here there is no text here, right? As you can see, between the paragraph text there is no text. That means this paragraph is empty. But when you click on the add button after performing the operation, okay, the result should be displayed in between the paragraph text. That's what I want to achieve. To achieve this, guys, we have to create functions for this add, subtraction, multiplication and division. When you click on the add button, addition function need to be called, and the operation has to be performed on these 2 numbers that are entered into this number 1 and number 2 fields, and the result of the addition should be displayed as a paragraph text. That's what I wanted to do. Okay, so further, guys, I'm not going to create the JavaScript code in the same HTML file. Rather, I would like to create the JavaScript code as a separate file. So further, guys, anyhow we have to create the script tags. Okay, there's no other way to escape. Here I'll say type is equal to text. This is optional, guys. Text / JavaScript. Okay, JavaScript followed by src. I'll give the location where the JavaScript file is available. I have to give. First, I'll create a JavaScript file. Say I'll say demo.js only, guys. Okay, I'm just giving a simple name like demo.js and press enter. And here I'll give the name as demo.js. Simple. Okay, JavaScript file. This is. here guys, since demo.js and HTML file are at the same location, in the same folder they are, that's why I'm giving the name of the file and the extension of the file directly here. But if in case the JavaScript file is at a different location from the HTML file, then you have to give the complete path of the JavaScript file here. Okay, fine. Now, anyhow, that's the thing. So you don't have to write anything, any JavaScript code inside the same HTML file. Rather, you can create the JavaScript code here. Let's create some functions, guys. Okay. First function I'll create add function. Okay. This add function will receive some parameters. Say two parameters, a comma b. Let's say. Okay. A comma b. Let's and it will perform the sum where sum is equal to a plus b and return the sum, guys. Okay. Return the sum. This is one thing. And another function I'll create, I'll copy paste this function, guys. Multiple functions I'm creating here. Subtraction function. Here also a and b will be received, but a minus b. Okay, a minus b. And here sub, I'll say result, return result. I'll say here also I'll just give something like result and return result. Okay, result, return result. Okay, and I'll copy paste and create one more function, say multiplication. Okay, a multiplied by b and return the result of this multiplication. And one more function, fourth function, I'll be creating as division. Okay, div and a divided by b. I'll say a divided by b, and it will return the results. Four functions, guys. Four functions we are creating. And now let's call these functions. Okay, let's call these functions. Here, when you click on the add button, what should happen? On click is equal to, okay, on click is equal to, you have to call which function? Add. So add function need to be called, guys. But here there is a problem, guys. Okay, there is some problem here. You see, when you are calling the add function, you have to pass a and b, right? How to take this a and b? Can I take this a and b? Is it possible to pass a and b because they are here, right? That's a problem. So guys, we'll not pass a and b like this. Okay, we'll remove this a and b's. Okay, simply remove this a and b, guys. Okay, just simply what is possible, I'll tell you. Just remove this a and b's. And here on the top of these functions, I'll create something like, okay, I'll create something like directly in the JavaScript file, I'll create something like document dot get element by. So here, guys, there are two input fields, right? Two input fields. So here I'll give some IDs, guys. Okay. So this first input field, I'll give ID. I'll say this as num1 ID. And the second number also, second input field also, whatever the value are entering, I'm giving number2, okay, as ID. Now come here and write document.get element by ID. Give the, okay, from the number1 field, okay, collect the value, okay, just collect the value, guys. Document.get element by ID number1, take the value that is entered into the input field and store that into, say, where a, okay, into the variable a. So this a is already came, okay, you don't have to pass the a to the function, right? Now the next one, where b is equal to document.get element by ID of number2, okay, here say number2, say dot value that is entered into the second text box field will be stored into the b. Now it's okay, right? You don't have to pass any arguments into these functions, add, subtraction, multiplication, and division. You don't have to pass any arguments. Simply call the function whenever you click. So it will automatically take the values from the two input fields and perform the operation and give the results, okay? And give the results on click add. The result is coming here, guys. The result, when you click here, the result is coming here. But what you are going to do, I don't know, okay? So fine, let's add this, guys. I will change the code a bit, okay? So this code needs some tweaks. Subtraction will, when you click on the sub button, it will call the sub function, okay, subtraction function. Then subtraction, multiplication function need to be called. Then on click, division function need to be called, okay? And here I think this is enough, right? This is enough. Now we need to display the result in the paragraph text, okay? To display the results in the paragraph text, what we have to do is, instead of returning here, what I will do here is I'll write something like this: document dot get element by ID What is the ID, guys? ID is para1, right? Para1. Okay. Here we have to display the results. Instead of returning the value from this function, will be changing double quotes cam multiple times. Let me delete this. Para1 dot. I'll simply change the inner HTML of this particular paragraph to this result. Simple. Okay. Here I'm calculating the result and I'm displaying the result here. Simple. Okay. Same thing, copy paste, guys. And instead of the return statements, write it here. Okay. Instead of return statements, write it here. That will be good. So fine. We got all the stuff. Okay. We got all the stuff. We will be displaying the result. Let's see, guys, whether this thing is working for us or not. Okay. If not, we'll be changing. So run this code. Now, guys, I'll enter 5 here and 4 here. Okay, 5 here, number 5 into the 5 number into the number 1 field, 4 number into number 2 field, and click on add. You're not getting any result, guys. And also there is a problem here. So this should we'll put br here, and we'll do one thing. Just change these things. We'll just copy paste and okay. Dot value. We are collecting the value and storing there, right? Just make them local. Let's see what will happen this time. Right click, open with. So let's give 5 here, and let's give 4 here, and let's click on add. You see, 54 is coming. What is the problem, guys? Why 54 is coming? Why 54 is coming, guys? The reason here is when you are collecting this value is stored into the variable A in the form of string, guys. Okay, it's being stored in the form of a string, not in the form of a number. So it's appending a string with another string. Okay, so we have to convert that, guys. We have to convert that into integer. Okay, you have to convert that into integer. How to typecast this particular thing into an integer? Let me do it. So here, guys, what we have to do is, before you add this, append this A and B, here A is collected. The value A that is entered into the number that got entered into the text field was properly received, but in the string format here, you are appending a string with string. 5 string you are appending with 4, so you are getting 54 as a wrong result. So you have to convert that, guys. There is a function known as parseInt, guys. Okay, parseInt, which will convert this. Before adding this A to B, it's converting this A into an integer, and also the B into an integer. Okay, B into an integer. B into an integer. Just copy paste here everywhere, guys. Okay, just copy paste this everywhere and change the operation symbol like minus. Okay, so here also multiplication. Okay, we have to convert the received input into number, then only multiply, then only after converting into integer only divide. Okay, parseInt will convert from string to integer. Okay, there is a predefined function in JavaScript which will convert which will typecast from string to integer kind of. Okay, string to integer. Now it will work fine, guys. Now it's going to work fine. The code is going to work fine for us. Let's do it. Let me close all the previous instances and now run it again. Open with live server. See the page came. Now let's enter 5 here, and let's enter 4 here, and let's click on add. You got 9 as a result. Okay, you got the 9 as a result, guys. Result is equal to 9. And if you click on subtraction, this time 5 minus 4 1, multiplication 5 into 4 20, division 1.25. Okay, you see it's working fine. This is how, guys, we can execute the JavaScript function from the HTML code. Okay, so I demonstrated where I have written the JavaScript code inside the same HTML file, and also the second program where I have written the JavaScript code in a separate file and still able to work on the JavaScript code, right? Execute the JavaScript code from the HTML file. Okay, so guys, this is all about the functions. It's a lengthy session, I know, but a lot of things I have explained in this session, guys. So that's it, guys. See you in the next video session. Thank you. Bye.